Hello, algebra students. Okay, so today's lesson is everyone's favorite lesson. I don't know why so many people love it. It's just the most beloved of algebra work is doing cross multiplication, cross products. So a real quick review is if we wanted to solve something like this. Remember, some people call it the butterfly method. I like that term. Crisscross applesauce. I don't know. Okay, so multiply these two numbers together, you multiply these two numbers. Well, 8 times n is pretty simple. 8n. Now, 7 times 12 is a little bit trickier. You might want to use a calculator. Some of us might see it's 84, but that's okay if you don't know that. Okay, so use 7 times 12. Most people don't know their 12 times tables very well. As you see, it's 84. So 8f equals 84. Next step, now it's really actually back to an algebra problem. Divide both sides by 8. We've done this before. 8 divided by 8 is just 1, so they cancel out. M. And then 84 divided by 8. Divided by 8 is just 10.5. Rather simple. So if you want to think of it, so after it's solved, 7 divided by 8 is equal to 10.5 divided by 12. Like, one step. Well, what's 7 divided by 8? Is 0.875. And then 10.5 divided by 12, same thing. Change those two. These two are equivalent fractions. Very interesting thought there. Okay, so now let's go take it a step further, a little bit more difficult. This is the one I want you to work on because the other ones are too easy. Okay, you can do those all day. I know you guys can do that. Now I got something with more b's. This is like a real multi-step equation. There's a bunch of things going on here. Okay, so one of the things is before I do this cross multiplication, before I do the multiplication and the cross multiplication, I'm going to kind of set it up differently. Because trying to figure this all out is, I think, a little too confusing to do in one step. So what I'm going to say, 4 times b minus 8. Write it as a distributive property. Equals 5 times b plus 3. Write it as a distributive property. In my feeling, that's just a little bit more controlled and neater and less likely to make mistakes. If you try to do this too much, I worry a little that we will rush too much and we'll make mistakes. So I do the rainbows 4 times b. It's 4b. So this is step 1. Well, actually, that was step 1. You get that. Step 2 is the distributive property. 4b minus 1630 minus 32. I didn't win that in my head. You can use the calculator. 5b. 5 times b is 5b over here. And 5 times 3 is 15, plus 15. Okay. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, I always move the smaller one. Now, next step is I got to, some people say combining like terms. I don't really like to think this is like terms. I think of like consolidating the variables, putting them all on one side, because I don't want 2 b's. I want my final answer all the way down at the bottom to be b equals something. So it's got to be b only on one side. So I'm going to subtract the smaller one, move the baby. And this works out really nice. Because that just becomes 0. 4b minus 4b is 0. This comes down negative 32. Now, 5b minus 4b is 1b. Right? But I can also just write it as b. Or 1b plus 15. Now things are getting a little bit easier. Now I don't have to do multiplication after this next step. Here, what's getting in the way of b being by itself? Plus 15. I got to get rid of that plus 15. So that's really just a subtraction problem. Subtract 15 from both sides. That goes to 0. And b equals, if I do this in the calculator, negative 32 minus 15 minus 47. And there we go. B equals minus 47. Or minus 47 equals B. Not bad. The tricky part, because I know you guys are getting more confident at this type of stuff. Okay, so you got one step is the multiplication. Then you do the distributive property. Then you do here. You consolidate the variables. You make the variables all on one side. Then after you do that, you come to here. Here you get to add. So it's a 4-step. And then after you add, you get your answer. So really, it's about a 4-step problem. But all the steps you know, especially once you get it to here, this is a very simple problem, right? We're just working with doing one step, getting to B by itself. It's the first 2 steps that make things a little unorganized. I just don't want us rushing over here, because that's a little, to me, if I try to do that in my head, I'm afraid I'm going to mess up. I'd rather write it out. Even if I'm going to do the math in my head, like I kind of did here, it's going to be a little bit more organized, because I'll know what you will call it, the order of what's got to be multiplied by what and everything like that. If I do it here, I don't even as a math teacher, I don't trust myself doing that in my head first. Just too much possibility for mistake is really what I think of. All right, guys, I'll talk to you in a bit.